All right, today it is Tuesday. Today is February the 6th. The year is 2018. It's a new month. Yes, it's February. I hope I remember to say February, my last video. Today is February 6th, 2018. I was just sitting here having a discussion with my mother. My mother, she feels, do you believe that we are living in the last days? Well, we have similar close to what we were discussing.
I don't, a lot of people say last days, which they don't understand. We're living in the end of the age of things. So every so many thousands of years, God has to step in because so much sin is rampant and so much demonic activity is going on that He has to step in and change our lives. And so we're at the end of the age.
So you believe, your belief is things have gotten progressively worse for people in regards to more sinful behavior, more people losing their morals, or just people being more evil, more wicked, more demonic.
Well, you have to remember that when He created Adam and Eve in this world, that Satan and the demons were cast to the earth. So He made us after this. So the world has always had demonic spirits.
I'm not a religious person. I don't believe in any of this stuff. But what I've never understood is if God is almighty, has all His power, why would He leave us here on this earth with all these demonic spirits, these evil people that He cast out from heaven? Now, why hasn't He been able to round them up and make this world a safe place for the humans, us human beings out here? What would be His logic and reason behind allowing this demonic force or demons to run rampant on planet Earth?
Well, you have a choice. You can serve Him, or you could go the opposite way.
Well, why do we have this choice? Why is He giving us this choice?
It's a choice because He has given us this choice because the enemy says that he controls us. He tells us what to do. So we have a choice in life to serve Him or to serve the devil.
Okay. Well, as you know, I'm a black gay man living in Atlanta. Living in Atlanta is a horrible place for black gays, in my opinion. I think it could be, you deal with a lot of evil, demonic forces. I don't know even what else to say. These guys can have some very wicked ways here. Their morals and everything have gone off the cliff. Is that, you think they're being influenced by demonic demons, or what do you think is causing these guys to have such loose morals and just to be such nasty and wicked behavior towards one another?
So you're dealing with that section of the people. I'm dealing with people that are supposed to be called not homosexuals, and they're going through the same thing. They're so evil, so wicked. You think people are your friend, and come to find out they're demonic trying to work against you. So it is occurring everywhere, not just in the homosexual.
Okay.
We're all made of flesh and blood. So we're all going through. Everybody is going through in this time and age that we're living in. Everybody. I meet people all the time, but I know that their spirit is not in God, and I can tell by the way that how they're operating in the world. They don't like each other. They don't like people. They'll cut you out in a minute.
So many issues, so many crazy people. All right, so my take on this is that these people, we are living in a world where we have become less and less, we're dealing with more mental illness than anything right now that's not being dealt with. We have a huge segment of people, both gay and straight, who are suffering from severe mental illness, and nobody's getting any help for this.
Well, you have to remember that when I've seen this, what happened, because when I was coming up, they had mental homes operating.
Yes.
Then the government closed the mental homes and turned them over to the church. I wanted family members to take their people and help them. And that was a bad mistake. All these mental people are on the streets. Because when they had them in the mental homes, they could drug them, they could feed them, they could take care of them, and they were more comfortable. But now that they're on the streets, they don't want nobody telling them nothing. They don't want... I see a man every weekend, he's screaming and hollering, and somebody say he just needs to take his medicine.
Now, but what about what I call the walking mentally ill, the ones that go to jobs, go to work, but they're dealing with some very serious mental problems,
demonic problems. I mean, we have to admit that these people are dealing with demonic problems. And
is it demonic, or are they dealing with mental illness that can be fixed? If they sought help for dealing with issues that range from narcissistic behavior, bipolar, or depression, or any of these issues, if they sought help, wouldn't that resolve most of these problems? If they only acknowledge that they have problems like alcoholism and drug use and other stuff, and they admitted that they were dealing with
dealing with spirits. The bottom line is that they're dealing with spirits. When you go into a liquor store, most of those stores have a big sign up there saying spirits. Well, they're putting those things into their system.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, they just go on. Some people have a weakness in their genetics towards alcohol and stuff.
Okay, they're born with pre-existing addiction. Okay, but if they got professional help,
just because they put a name on it doesn't mean that that they're going to get help. A lot of people don't get help,
and that's what I'm saying. A lot of people just don't get help.
They might go to get help, but they can't.
I don't know. Look, I've been around. You and I've been around a lot of people for a long time. How many people do you know going to see therapists and psychiatrists and going to doctors and doing the right things they need to? Which last time you did about drugs?
Well, I'll say it like this. I do go to the clinic. I'll say it like this, and I do see a doctor. I'll say it like this, that from what I can see is that a lot of people with the so-called mental problems, they do go and get help. But we as free will people are unable to help these people.
Okay.
I mean, doctors, they're puzzled as to what's going on. They drug these people up, and about all they can do is keep them drugged up. And when they get off that drug, then they go back into that screaming and hollering.
One of the biggest issues I think in the world I live in, the black gay community, is we have this HIV problem that's out of control. And I think HIV has an effect mentally on the people who are living with HIV. It affects them mentally and physically. And I think that also the medications also create a whole lot of problems in their lives. But again, nobody's making these guys or even suggesting to these guys that they seek mental health treatment or counseling to deal with their living with HIV, to deal with the medicines that they're taking, to deal with the issues that come with it. Do you think? I mean, I guess for me, see, your belief is that prayer would resolve some of these issues.
No, not just prayer. Now you have to operate in prayer. You just, God. If you don't know the word, God always assigns someone for the issues of that time.
Mm-hmm.
But see, we've gotten so far from the Bible in this generation. These kids don't know nothing about no Bible. So if you don't have the word, how do you expect these young people? This generation is what you would call a lost generation.
Mm-hmm.
See, you might have thought that being a Jehovah's Witness, and even though you said that you don't believe in the word and on the Bible and God or Jesus, but there's something deeper in you that knows that there's a God. See, we're spirits. And there's something that's deeper in a person that's been raised up. Because eventually you will see that there is a God. You might not see him now, but one day you will understand. And it's going to come from inside because you got some word as a young person. The Bible said to raise up a child in the way that he should go.
Okay, well, on planet Earth, we have hundreds and thousands of religions. Whose religion is right? I think I've asked you this before. Which religion is right? Which religion is wrong? Are they all correct?
All religion is wrong.
Okay.
There's nowhere in the Bible where we are to have a religion. We are to serve the Most High God. We're to have a relationship with him, just like we're sitting here. I talk to him all the time. And so you have to have a relationship with God. But people don't know that because they've been lied to from the pulpits.
Mm-hmm.
And half these people, they talk a lot of nonsense when they're talking about the word. Because they go to church, and like I said, we used to hear sermons on potholes. What we talk about potholes from the pulpit for?
Mm-hmm. Okay, so over the past 10 years, the STD, the sexually transmitted disease rates have skyrocketed across America. At one point, they thought they had gonorrhea and syphilis under control. Now, you have millions of infections, people infected, but in the 60s, well, particularly in the 70s, early 80s, they really thought they had eliminated this disease from our country or other large parts of the world. Now the disease is back raging wildly. What are your thoughts? Why do you think this is happening now again in this modern age of science and technology? People should be knowing to use condoms and practice safe sex.
Well, one thing about those two diseases that you just called out, it has been a known fact that when they created what they thought would cure it, they knew that it could never be cured.
Okay. What you mean never eradicated from it? But you did cure it.
But it comes back. It always comes back.
Come back, not in that person, but back.
Oh, I know. There are people that have shown up.
Because they went back out and got reinfected then. They had to get over. If you had syphilis and gonorrhea, and you got treated for it. It was treated. You resolved that issue, but you can go back and get reinfected if you continue that same bad behavior of having unprotected sex, not using condom, or multiple sexual partners.
Well, from what I've heard, that it gets in the body and it germinates. Then it can hide in the body, but it's always
if it's not treated. But if it's treated,
they have said that even with treatment now back in the day,
they have treatment for it now. The treatment works, but the STD treatment, the syphilis and gonorrhea treatments do work to eliminate this virus because you can't live with this virus in your body. But if you go back out and get reinfected, then you don't have a problem.
But there's a lot of diseases that are already in our bodies. A lot of diseases are already there.
Well, they're all deadly diseases. Cancer is a deadly disease. Heart disease is a deadly disease. Kidney disease is a deadly disease. Any disease that's present in your body will kill you. That's why you have to deal with it or treat the disease.
It depends on how. Everybody doesn't have to run to a physician.
Oh, they need to go to a physician to get treated of the disease.
But you know what the Bible says, that there's only one physician, and his name is Jesus.
You got his phone.
Most people do not want to.
How do I get in touch with Jesus, Mama?
I'll give you a study, and I'll show you. I should have brought my Bible with me. I'm serious.
But you said people are, okay, now, that's what Creflo, not Creflo, what was that man, New Birth, what was his name? Bishop Eddie Wong.
We're not going to even talk about that. We're going to leave that off because it's wrong for me, and as a Christian, to talk about someone that said that, I can't go into that. You can talk about it, but I can't.
Okay. Well,
so I don't know.
I was at his church, and he said he was holding up a little thimble of, when they give you the what's it called when you drink the juice and the communion? Is it called communion?
Yeah, communion.
Okay, so communion. And he had a little thimble of grape juice. He said, you don't need a doctor or a psychiatrist or nothing. If this will cure cancer and AIDS and all this stuff, you don't need nothing. I was sitting there thinking, what do you say? Do you believe that also? That this little thimble of juice? Have you seen it?
I believe it because I know who I am. With someone else saying it and knowing that their background was not who they said they were, I would not have believed it. Okay. He was just standing there right off his mouth saying something he heard somebody else say. You got to know that you know that you know that the word will heal you. Because the first thing, God ain't going to let it get into your mind. He said the mind is the most important thing. I don't receive stuff that comes my way.
All right, so you and I both have seen, I've lost. You met my friends, and you know all these guys I know who died from AIDS in late 90s, early 2000s, even in the past few years, people we both know who are battling, someone in particular, is not doing well at all with HIV right now. Are these sinful people? Why did they perish? Is it because they didn't have a close relationship with God?
I would say more that they're ignorant. That's it right there. Ignorance will kill you. We all know that.
But they were HIV positive. They had AIDS. They had
ignorance because they had no idea. I've seen people, I've heard people talk about how they had AIDS, And I believe it with all my heart that when they got a relationship with God, because it's the Word of God that heals us. He is the great healer. But most people want to deny that He's able to heal. They don't know Him.
Mm-hmm.
So, if you don't know the man, then you have a problem.
So that's what I'm asking you. So all these people who died of cancer, AIDS, car accidents, airplane crashes, they didn't have a relationship with God and Jesus? The people who were killed in Vegas, the 50 people who got killed by that crazy man who shot, they didn't have a
We live in a generation, Walter, as well as you're sitting up here, talking about you don't believe in Him. What make you think they believe in Him? What make you think that?
Well, we don't know these people, so we can't say
that
they
doesn't matter. You see how people live their lives.
Well, I don't believe in God and Jesus. I don't live my life recklessly. I'm not out there having a bunch of murder. I'm not. You trust me. I don't have HIV. So I never had a good AIDS.
But the minute you get a little cold, you get up and go to the doctor.
I'm going to the doctor.
You don't pick up your word and say, by your stripes,
I'm going to the doctor's office.
Go about your business.
I'm going to go in there and say, what's the latest medications y'all got?
Give it to me.
Well, I'm going to tell you what I believe in. Let me clear this up about my beliefs. I don't believe in any religion, but I believe there's a greater power. I believe just like this table is sitting in front of us holding up these things. This table was designed for a specific reason. Just like this shirt was designed to keep us warm. Just like these lights, electricity. So a doctor was created for a reason to provide us with healthy medicines were created. All this stuff was created for a specific reason. Medicine, doctors, hospitals, very important places, right?
He had to bring them onto the scene.
Well, why couldn't God be working through the doctor to give you the financial, to give you your health back to normal? Working through the medicines, working through the x-ray machines, working through the science.
I believe that he is. I really believe that he is. Because if they talks about unbelief. If you don't have any belief that God can heal you, you get up and you go to the doctor and take care of yourself medically because He put it there just for the unbelief.
But you can't criticize people who get up and go to the doctor's office.
Oh no, I wouldn't do that for nothing in the world. I take people to the doctor. I encourage them to go to the doctor. A lot of people, like a lady I was driving around, taking to the grocery store and doing things, trying to talk the word to her. Mm-hmm. Screaming out at me one day, I don't want to hear nothing about that, no Bible. Well, unfortunately, I was in her life for a reason. It was a short period after then that woman had throat. She's gone from the world today. She had cancer in her throat.
Did she smoke?
She smoked.
Okay.
But, but see, God will send you to people so that you can help. I've heard people change their lives. I've had people tell me, I'm so glad you brought that word to me.
Do you think the reason why I've been living life for 30 years, why do you think after all these years, I'm still sitting here HIV negative? Everybody else can get AIDS and positive. Everybody I know is positive. Why am I, out of all these people that I knew, why am I still
I'm going to give you two reasons why. Somebody's praying for you, and you get up and go to the doctor to see about yourself. You're not a loose man. So many people nowadays are, even back in the day, Robert was loose, and you know he was loose. Going with every man he could go with.
Yeah, they all were.
And his mama was loose.
Yes, she was. Oof.
He had no example in the house. So he did what he saw. So you get up and you go see about yourself, and you keep your...
But I was very knowledgeable about HIV and AIDS.
But then,
education is the key here. I knew we all knew about HIV and AIDS. Even back then, they knew about it. I knew not to put my life at risk. I was not about to have sex with every man walking down the street. I was about to live and have sex with men and not any condom or protection. I was not going to put myself into a situation where I knew later on I'd be sitting up on a respirator or walking around with crutches like I saw a lot of people I know even today. Or I won't throw any names out, but people I know sitting here in 2017, 18 with sores all over their body because their immune system, they're taking their medications. But look, I kept my underwear on my behind, Mama. That's why I didn't have HIV.
I told you for years. I said to you for years, you're going to be safe as long as you do not lay and be I know, just any man that comes
yeah, having sex with all these people. I didn't go out there in particular. Trust me, I know what my friends were doing. I would just sit back and say, I'm not doing that.
Walter, somebody was praying for you and still praying.
But was it prayer or was it education?
Pardon me?
Was it prayer?
They both worked together. I mean, I'm serious. They both worked together. You were doing what you knew humanly to do, and I was doing what I knew to do in the spirit world. I pray, and like you might think that I worry about the drug problem, the marijuana problem, and I don't worry about that. Mm-hmm. Because I know that God is able. You just keep praying. The prayers of the righteous availeth much.
I just have a question about Jackie. Because Jackie's health deteriorated at such an early age. Got worse, and she eventually died from... What was it?
Jackie walked in fear. Mm-hmm. Jackie was so afraid. And the Bible said fear will put you in your grave. Most people you see dying from a disease, or even from HIV, they have they're not immune to it because of the fear that's in them.
Well, could it also have been a lot of people who died from AIDS in the medicines in the late 80s, early 90s, the medicines that are available today that for the most part work if you get your hands on it, if you know to go get some of it. For the most part, they work, but they didn't have that medicine. Could Jackie be alive had she had the proper treatment? Let's say Jackie had millions of dollars, and she went to the right doctors. Jackie was the type of person we couldn't give her any direction. She did what she wanted to do, but if she had the financial means instead of prayer, could she have financially?
A lot of people with money die, Walter. A lot of rich people. You think all the rich people have walked in the earth and still alive?
No, but I just said the treatment. Could she have got better treatment for? I don't want to say it was lupus.
They do. I mean,
what exactly was it that she had? Because I won't say it's lupus.
She had CPO. Her lungs had stopped producing like they should have.
Okay.
And when your lungs, she wasn't getting oxygen through her body.
Yes.
So all of her organs.
So was she not praying? Was she living walking in fear?
She was walking in fear. She might have been praying. She might have been saying, "Oh, thank you, Lord, thank you, Lord." But see, when a disease came upon her, she, I've been doing this all my life. All my life. This is me from day one.
Okay.
So when she was afraid. She would go to doctors and the medicine wouldn't help. She got worse and worse.
So there was never a point in your life that you had any fear. You had your faith in God and Jesus to carry you. You never had fear ever.
You remember that time I went to the hospital in Chicago? Uh-huh. And I was going because they wanted to go into my pituitary gland or my brain or something. And I'm laying up there in that bed. I said, Lord, I got all them little children at home. I can't afford for no doctor to be going up into my head. I got to put my clothes on, call Walter to come get me. Never look back. Never look back.
Okay, so you said, I know that is a true story that you left the hospital.
Left the hospital.
Against everybody's wishes.
So, I couldn't take care of my kids, and I'm dead up there with my head.
Well, you were criticized for years for not.
I never looked back. I went with the Lord. I went with the Lord.
And you think that was the right decision because you haven't had any health issues since then.
That's right. I had a higher purpose, and that was to see that my children were raised and taken care of. So I had a purpose to live. I said, Lord, I can't walk off and leave them kids like that. Never, and put on my clothes that night. Called Walter to come and get me. Never went back to that doctor. Never had no problems. I had a purpose to live. Mm-hmm. See, a lot of people...
But did the problem resolve itself?
It did.
Okay.
It did.
Wow.
Because it probably wouldn't, I mean, sometimes these doctors get a little hyper about things. You know what I'm saying?
Did you have good health insurance back then too?
I did.
Yeah, because you had a husband who was what?
But I never went back to the doctor.
Because you had a husband, you had good health insurance because you had a husband who was working, right?
Yeah.
And providing.
Yes.
You had one of the top hospitals in Chicago at that point.
That's right. I sure was, and I got them walked out of there.
I remember. Well, I don't think that you did the right. I don't think you did the wrong. I think you handled that.
I had a purpose.
Okay.
Jackie was so afraid, and she walked in so much fear. I mean, she knew that everybody around her was demonic. I took her to the grocery store one time, and she started crying because she said, "You got to get me out of here," because these people were sending demons against her body. Mm-hmm. See, we didn't grow up in that atmosphere where we came from. We never knew about that until we moved down south.
All right,
and so I'm sure it was...
We're running a little bit over time here, but go ahead. I'll let you finish. What were you about to state?
I was just going to say, I'm sure, because your father and all of them were from Mississippi. Mm-hmm. When they told me about witchcraft and everything was going on in Mississippi, I said, I never heard of that before.
Do you believe witchcraft to be true?
Oh, now I do, yeah, because it is true. It's very true. Okay. But it's demonic.
Okay. Well, we're going to end this now. We'll be back in a few minutes. Today it is Tuesday, February the 6th, the year is 2018, and we'll be back. I'm sitting here, I'm Hampton Alberta Hampton. We're sitting here talking about demonic spirits. We'll be right back in a few minutes.